My name is Jakes, and welcome to my world. I'm in the process of completing Phase 4, with the majority of the buildings being in the Spire Coast, but for today, we'll be finding ourselves in the lovely Dune Desert. And for today's episode, we'll be finding ourselves in the lovely Dune Desert. Here I'll be constructing an assembly tower for all the required Phase 4 space elevator parts, along with all the required factories to feed that assembly tower. I'm using Satisfactory modeler to plan out exactly what's needed. I've created this outpost to help me keep track of everything and to help me plan exactly what's needed next. So, let me show you what we're going to be up to today. In order for us to complete Phase 4, we will need to produce the following: 500 assembly director systems, 500 magnetic field generators, 250 thermal propulsion rockets, and 100 nuclear pasta. For me to complete this order, I'm planning on producing 6 assembly director systems per minute, 10 magnetic field systems per minute, along with 3 thermal propulsion rockets and 3 nuclear pasta per minute. In order to maintain this rate of production, we will need to build these primary factories that can produce the following items at the rates displayed. As you can see, some of these parts have already been checked off, as these can already be constructed in my starter area, where I have a Phase 1 and 2 assembly factory right next to my Phase 3 assembly factory. Both of these are currently dormant, but I'll bring them online and using most likely drones to transport these parts from the Rocky Desert to the Dune Desert. We will also require additional smaller factories to produce lower yield items locally, like concrete and quick wire for instance. But more on that later. For today, we'll be focusing on copper ingot production, and for that, we'll be going to our Phase 4 planning area where we lay out exactly what's needed next. For copper, we need just under 5,200 ingots per minute. 4,500 will be produced locally, and 700 will be imported via trains from our Rocky Desert smelteries. The majority of the imported ingots will be moved via train from this smeltery, and if I'm running a bit short, which should be unlikely, then we can always draw more ingots from this smeltery. I am also currently in the process of expanding my infrastructure, and will be using both trains and trucks to move all the required materials to the Dune Desert biome. All the rails and roads are blueprint sets that will be made available on my Patreon. Speaking of blueprints, to make things easier for both me and you, I have created a stackable refinery blueprint set that will allow us to build a 750 per minute copper ingot production tower in less than a minute. The blueprint consists of a base, a mid, and a roof section. All of the pipes and conveyor belts will auto-connect, and all you need to do is hook up the 4 electrical cables and feed each tower with 300 copper ore and 200 water. Both inputs and outputs can be found at the base of the tower. Alright, let's do a quick demonstration of how to set up this blueprint. I am currently in my creative world, hence the flying and no power or anything like that. First thing you want to do, you want to grab the base one. So this is going to be this one. So stackable refinery base. This is the copper one. I'm also working on a iron one, but that's going to be for the next episode. Anyway, so I'm going to place this one down wherever. So let's just position it right there. And then I'm going to switch over to the mid section. And then all you need to do is make sure that you're in blueprint auto connect. So blueprint auto connect. Aim on top. Just make sure that you kind of line it up. You'll see the edges here will match. And once you do that, you just need to go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you see the auto connect symbol then highlights, and you can then select this one down. Alright, we're going to do 2 mid sections. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Put this one down. I'm going to go over to the roof section now. And again, same story. Just lock it in, move it down 4, and we'll auto connect. And there we go. So all these pipes and conveyor belts are now hooked up. The pipes will auto connect as is, straight up. Also did a bit of a loop here, so you got one single pipe going all the way up with pumps feeding it, and it's going to go feed itself down, which will then feed all the machines with water going all the way down. So there are 2 refineries per blueprint, and we're putting down 4 blueprints, so we got 8 refineries in total. Alright, so to hook up the power, all you need to be is here at the bottom. Let's let me just switch over to this. Alright, here we go. So this one will hook up to your external power source, wherever. And then as you go up here, you'll see there's a connector here. You just need to connect this one. So this connects this base blueprint with the mid blueprint, and this mid blueprint with the other mid one, and then the mid with the roof. And that's all you need. From here, you want to grab some water. So I'm just gonna put down a water extractor right here. What's that again? There we go. So we'll just see, we'll do it right there. And you want 200 water, so you can hook that straight up there. So this one needs to be 200, so just make sure that you overclock it. And it's going to max it out. Actually, I know what, it needs 200, but I would say, because for Satisfactory and water, I'll do 215 just to play it safe. Alright, so let's just do this. There we go. So this is all water. And then you want, if you come look over here, you'll see there's a little PC computer here that will tell you exactly what you need. So we need 300 ingots coming in, and we need 200 water coming in. Right, so let's go grab miner. Just make sure whatever miner you put down, overclock it so you can do 200. So we're doing 240, so that's more than enough. Grab your belt. And just slap that bad boy in there. And again, like I said, I'm on creative, so there should be no power. Oh, there we go. We don't even need the pole. Right, so that will feed into the machines. It splits off right there, and it will go all the way up and feed the 4 machines on this side and the 4 machines on this side. Right, the other thing you want to make sure that your water coming in has enough lift here. So any pump here will probably do the trick. Let's see if we put this one down. Yeah, that's going to go all the way up to there. Cool. So just make sure that you've got enough pressure coming in to this section, just so you can push the water up to this point, and then these pumps can take over. As soon as they can grab the water, there we go. It will start pushing the water all the way up, going all the way through here. This section, this open section here, is when you've done and everything is good to go. This is where you place your elevator, so that's why that entire section is open. So you'll see it fits right snugly in there. You can obviously have this door going whichever way. For me, I kind of like designed it so you can go in from this point. There's a front door here, so if you want to enter through here, you can, and then just join up the elevator. Or if you want an access point at the back, you can just cancel this one. You can do it this way around if you like. Up to you. Anyways, let's do it inwards, and then from here you're just going to go all the way up. And just bring it all the way up, just to right below that section there. What I usually do, I can actually see the refinery starting to kick in now, is I delete the floor stop here, because the floor stop is, if you look down, there's the first one, or that's the last one actually. Actually no, correction, that's the last one. You just need to move it down a little bit. But I'll quickly go in on this side and show you around here. Let's just hook up. That's right, we don't need power for the elevator, of course. Okay, so we're in now. At the bottom, you can see it feeds out right over here. Put a sink right down here. There we go. And then at the bottom, from this section here, you can just put down your lift and then conveyor belt, go into your sink, and that will start feeding out all the ingots. You'll see on the conveyor throughput here, you should do about 750, so anything just under or just over, it will average out to 750. We're doing 780 at the moment because we're a little backed up because I didn't put the sink down immediately. But yeah, there you go. So that's your little monitoring station. Alright, over here you'll find your priority switch. What I did on my world, I didn't actually put a priority switch in here. I put a normal switch in because I don't want to clog up this area with just a bunch of copper towers, because I'm doing 6 on my world. But what I can do here is, if you don't want to do that, all you need to do is just go to power switch and just replace that one, and it won't be a priority power switch, it can just be a normal one. And then from here you can just obviously make sure you switch it on. But yeah, power for this one, you can just go somewhere here. You can place this is obviously one you have to hook up as well. I just usually go from there to there, and there you go, elevators sorted. Alright, looks like it's calming down now. Alright, so just be sure to put in your elevator stops in here. If I fly up now, you'll see you have to place in all of these. Just because we can't actually save these in, we can't save them in the blueprint maker. But what you can do is, this one you'll have to use, to go from the bottom floor up to this floor, you're going to have to use the elevator. There is ladders placed here in case you do want to use that, because sometimes they're just quicker than elevators. And once you're on this floor, you can actually go around and you can use a staircase here as well, or just you can use. And if you go around this side, you can use this. And if you go around this side, you can just use this ladder to get up here. And like I said, each floor also has their own elevator stop, at least designed to have one. This is kind of like the logistics floor. And I'm just going to activate flight. Let's grab this one. You can put, like I say, just make sure you place your elevator stops at each one of these points. You don't really have to. I just kind of like to have my factories to be fully traversable. In case you don't have a jetpack, or if there's a power failure, or if you're just trying to do fault finding. This is just going to make your life a little bit easier. Alright, here we go, top floor. Right, so these ones, obviously sometimes it takes a little bit of a time. Sometimes it takes a while for the water to fully fill up. This side is looking good. This side, yeah, it's kind of getting there. If you do have any issues with water, which this is Satisfactory, so sometimes we do, switch off all the machines and then switch one on, have it fill up, and once that one's on, you can actually switch both of these off. So if you switched off all the machines, just come down, switch these on, make sure they go to 50, and once they're both at 50, you can go up to the next floor and then switch these two machines on. Once they're on 50, that's sorted, then go up again and just basically go through all the floors. Once you've switched off all the machines, just start somewhere, do one floor, switch them on, go to the next floor, switch them on. Once they fill up to 50, go to the next floor, switch them on. Once they go to 50, and just kind of like rinse and repeat all the way down, and that will sort out any problems if you do have any kind of problems when it comes to water. Right, so at the bottom, there we go. So at the bottom you've got your floor access, and then just chuck in your water on this side and put in your conveyor belt on that side. And that should be it, you should be golden. And if we go back in here, right, so it looks like this one is almost ready. I think water is still maybe dripping through to the last ones just to get it up to 750. But from here, you've got your little computer interface, just kind of like telling you what's required. You got your power switcher in case you need one, and then if you put in all the floors, you can access all the floors using the elevator. Thank you, Ada. There we go. That should round off a bit. So sometimes it'll go over 750, sometimes it'll be just under 750, but overall it should average out over the long run to 750. Alright, and the cool thing about these towers, they are quite tall. So you can see them from quite far out. At least I think they look pretty cool. And you can just slap these ones down as long as you give them water and ore, and as long as you have an output and you hook them up to power, they should be good to go. So in my world, I've got 6 of these standing right next to each other, doing 4,500 ingots a minute. So speaking of which, let's actually head over there and you can see how I implemented my towers in my world. Alright, here we go. So as stated before, I need about, 5,400 ingots a minute, which is the main inspiration for these stacked refinery builds. It's just so I can do a lot of copper ingots when I need it, and in the future if I need any more, I can obviously just put down a couple of these and you're sorted. So I've gone, as you can see, I've gone with this one with like a bit of a red theme. I suppose that's an understatement. I've got these lights up here that just kind of at an angle which plays up the red lights. And as you can see there, I've kind of named these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. At least just numbered them. Alright, so we're going to go into number 3 here. And as you can see here, this one is quite healthy in the sense that it's doing its 750 as it's supposed to. The things that I changed here is I basically just added kind of like a logistics floor access. And this is where all the ingots are currently just being sunk, so they're all going into sinks way back there. And this is just the bottom section of it, so I rerouted all the pipes in here. Got the outer light controls here, as well as the main breaker for the priority switch. In fact, we can actually have a quick look here. So in total, this is obviously including the sinks as well, so it's drawing actually quite a bit of power. It's 6,345. If you don't know, you want to figure out exactly what that number is, just if you connect it up correctly and your main power goes into one switch and then to the rest of your buildings, you can just do this. You can kill it, and then it will show you the max consumption. In this case, I see it's slightly off. It's 6590. So if all the machines are running at its maximum, that's how much it will consume. So in other words, if you want to know how much your series of machines are consuming power, then that's the way to do it. So you switch it all off and you go to max consumption, and it will show any max consumption that is currently attached to this priority switch. So that's one way to do it, just in case you guys want to know. Anyways, so I've got my copper factories in here along with the other smelteries. So I think it's, yeah, Dune Desert Copper Towers. There we go. And these guys are purring away. Right, so heading back up here, what we'll do is we'll quickly head into the lifts. So you can see this one I've done all the floors with, so you can see it's all nicely sorted. We'll just go up one floor. And this is the, like I say, this thing is fully traversable on foot. Yeah, that's just the way that I like to do mine. Over here we've got another ladders going up here to the top floor for the first stack. So this is the no, correction. Yeah, this is the first one. So this is the base stacked refinery blueprint. Alright, so we'll go all the way up. And yeah, it came out quite nice. I like it looks very busy. It's very industrial as well, which is kind of what I'm going for in this playthrough. At least in this biome, rather. We'll head up to the final floor. I do like the fact that these ones are quite tall. Something I probably could have changed maybe is to give the elevator access to the roof as well and just go up one more. But I kind of wanted to, let me see if I can get out of here. Yeah. I kind of wanted these chimney-like ones to pop out from the roof. And if I had to bring up the elevator one more, so we'll probably come up to here, then these ones wouldn't have been as pronounced. And I kind of like the look of it where it's like, you see it's kind of like sticking out quite a bit. Actually, would have been nice if it was sticking out more. And maybe in the future what I can do is I can kind of swing it around so the chimneys is on the front side. So when you like ground level here, you can actually see it a little better. But still, it looks good. I like it. This is just a demonstration of what it was implemented in, or what does it look like when it's implemented. We'll get to that tower in the next video, so don't worry about that one for now. And like I said, currently everything is just being sunk here. All the copper ingots will be going from here to this big circular area, which is going to form the basis for the assembly tower. And way over there you can see the observation point, or the outpost rather. But yeah, that's it. So guys, these blueprints will be available for my patrons. I'm going to be putting it up there. I'm also going to do make a print of a tower. So if somebody wants to just slap down an entire tower without doing the blueprints, you can do that as well. But like I said, everything is going to be in my Patreon. And just to wrap this up again, I would like to thank my patrons for their continuous support. You guys allow me to dedicate the time to develop these kind of things, and I hope you guys get a hell of a lot of use out of this. These are quite cool. They came out really, really nice, and I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I am. And yeah, that's it for this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.